Hi, my name is Ben Wegner, and today I'm going to be talking about main genres of rock and roll and how it's adapted to modern day from the 1960s. Whether you like rock or not, there's a ton of different genres that, if you gave them a chance, they just might fit your music taste perfectly. On the walk to class every day, I know, for one, I listen to music on the way there. Second, I get out of my apartment, that first step, I pop my earbuds in, and I've seen a ton of other people who do the same thing around campus. When I was a kid, I was pretty much raised on AC/DC and Kiss, two pretty well-known rock bands. And I remember that the first rock song that I ever knew was "Rock and Roll All Night and Party Every Day" by Kiss. And I remember that because it reminded me of when I was a kid. It reminded me of birthday cake so much. While music has been around for a long time, rock and roll is adapted to modern day from its roots. Before rock and roll, there was blues, with one of the more notable guitarists, Robert Johnson. He had three really popular songs known as Crossroad Blues, Me and the Devil Blues, and Come On In My Kitchen. Blues songs were very introspective, and they showed a lot of rhythmic and minor pentatonic musicality, and rock did the exact same thing, just with more energy, and they cranked it to 11 instead of being more quiet and laid back. Rock was really energetic and really wanted to get the audience going. A couple of notable blues rock bands are Jimi Hendrix, Cream, and Led Zeppelin, who pioneered early rock. Blues rock was high volume and high energy, which eventually sprouted into 80s hair metal, which was more based on the performance and showmanship than it was on the music. Hair metal combined heavy riffs with tight pants. A couple of bands that come to mind when you think of hair metal are Twisted Sister, Van Halen, and Motley Crue. According to goldminemag.com, Van Halen, an album by Van Halen, set the template for hair metal for the years to come. Eddie Van Halen, who's the guitarist for Van Halen, is also known as the first actual guitar hero since Jimi Hendrix, being really, really profound at tapping. When you hear his solos and his tapping, you're going to know exactly who it is right away. Also, the term that most people are pretty familiar with sex, drugs, and rock and roll, comes more from hair metal than it does from any other subgenre of rock. Eventually, Nirvana and grunge kicked hair metal to the curb, and many people thought that should have happened much sooner. When you hear grunge, I'm guessing you think of Nirvana, and that's really reasonable because according to a documentary on Kurt Cobain's life called Kurt Cobain, Montage of Heck, when Nirvana was at its peak, they were the #1 rock band in the world at that time. Also, a lot of people think that indie rock is pretty new and it came after grunge rock and was inspired by grunge rock. However, the Pixies were actually formed in 1988, and according to Pixies, the Pixies official website, they still do tours today. Lastly, we're going to be talking about modern rock, which is really, really similar to indie rock. It goes really hand in hand because they have a lot of really groovy guitar parts and just kind of overall just like a flow of the song and just almost weird sounding lyrics, but they're mostly like just groovy songs. A couple of really well-known modern rock bands are Phoebe Bridgers, Hippocampus, just to name a few. In conclusion, we can see that modern rock overall has changed from the 1960s being blues rock with Led Zeppelin and Cream and Jimi Hendrix to modern rock now with more popular artists like Hippocampus and Phoebe Bridgers. And while music has been around for a long time, we can see that rock has adapted to modern day from its roots. So now that you know this, when you're going to class next time listening to music, maybe you'll know a little bit more about the music that you're listening to, and maybe you'll give rock a chance.